Hello everyone, I'm AJ Sharma, CEO and founder of Classibridge, and today I'm going to be talking to a group of our employees about online commenting. We're going to be talking about the pain points of online commenting and ways that can be improved. Before we begin, let's do some introductions. So let's start this on the table and just introduce ourselves, give our job title, and if you want to talk a little bit about your experience with either online comments or just social media networks.
Hi, my name is Timmy Pieretti. I am the Senior Application Development Specialist here at Classibridge. As for my experience with online commenting, it's mostly social sites that I use and forums, community forums, things like that, where I add comments and look at comments online.
Hi, I'm Amanda Scott. I am the Senior Public Relations Specialist and Journalism Advisor at Classibridge. As far as online comments, my experience comes from a journalism background, working at daily newspaper and a biweekly newspaper.
Hello, my name's Renee Giganti, and I am the Senior Business Development Specialist here at Classibridge. My previous experience with online comments, I had worked in the world of education, so I had a lot of experience in that realm, and then I've done a lot of background research into online commenting.
My name's Anthony Laverghetta, and I'm the graphic designer here at Classibridge. And for my exposure with online commenting, it's mainly social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I use those as tools to promote, the art that I create. That's what I do.
Great. Well, welcome everyone. Glad to have you guys here. So I want to talk first about the birth, the origin of online comments. When we first heard about discussions happening online, I'm sure, like me, you guys probably thought it was a great thing that there's going to be, great dialogue that's going to happen and cures for some of society's ills that are going to be discussed. But I'm wondering if that's been your experience. So let's start with Timmy. Timmy, tell us a little bit about what you were expecting online comments to be, and then kind of the actual conversation happening online, if they kind of reflect what you were expecting.
Well, sure. You think, look, this is a great forum and people can talk about things, in an intelligent manner and you share ideas, and that's really not what it turned out to be. Sure, there is some useful information that can be shared on the sites, but eventually it seems to all go south, in my opinion, and there's a lot of noise out there.
Sure. Well, Renee, let's turn to you. How about your experience and exposure to online comments? Has it been what you were expecting?
Yes and no. In some cases, more in closed groups where we can control who we're hearing from and who we're talking to, you are able to get some feedback, some positive opinions. However, when you open it up to the general public, for example, if I want to share, when I was teaching, if I wanted to share an article with my students, it could be about bacteria, it could be about something very benign. I would want them to go online and be able to look at the article, and then the things that they would see underneath would be things that I wouldn't want to expose them to, and there was no way to kind of have them be able to read the intelligent aspects of response without seeing all the negatives as well.
Right. So, Manny, let me ask you that from a journalism perspective, I guess. Articles are kind of published by publishers and newspapers to kind of convey information to the public that's already been kind of vetted and researched and analyzed by an experienced group of people. But then as far as the options that are available to the public after consuming that article, it's limited, the engagement options. Can you tell us a little bit about what goes on in newsrooms, just talk as far as engagement with their users and how they want to kind of build their community?
Yeah, absolutely. So newsrooms, with online comments specifically, especially on articles, they're really hoping for debate amongst the readers and even hopefully to further the story. Like maybe there is something that reporter missed, maybe there's something like an angle or someone that they should go talk to further the story, to get maybe there's more to it than the reporter was able to find out in just, usually it's a quick deadline in, a day or 2 days. You're only going to find so much a lot of the time. And unless you're really into your community, it's hard to know all of it, right? So they're really dependent on the readers to be able to do that, especially in comments, whether it's on the actual article on the site or even on social media sites. When the newsroom is looking at the comments, it isn't always the most helpful. A lot of times, as Renee and Timmy have already said, it does get into, all of the hate or even just saying that the reporter didn't do a good job, or this paper is left, or this paper is right, or this paper didn't, fake news, you get all of that stuff. So it's it's really a toss-up with newspapers how they decide to use those, but the main goal for newspapers is that they're going to be able to get more information from the readers to make their publication better.
That's a great point about getting the engagement from the community and getting more information from the readers. And if you think about it, essentially the way you can view it is that you have an artist creating art or a journalist writing an article, and it's hosted by a gallery, in this case the newspaper's website. But if we take a step back and think about dialogue that's happening online, a lot of the art that's being created by artists isn't by a journalist at a newspaper site writing an article. It could be by a social media posting, or it could be a piece of actual art, graphic design, a comic or something that's posted, and then there's a discussion happens below that. So Anthony, I know that you've got a lot of experience with art, and you're actually the artist for the Captain Classibridge comics at Classibridge. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the current ways that artists are actually posting art, and then how it's being discussed after it's posted?
Yeah, so really, when posting art, you kind of just have to put it out there and almost like hope for the best. You know, you have to sort of accept, and it's something that I've learned over time, is that you're never going to please everyone, and you know, a lot of people won't like what you do, but a lot of people also love what you do. So to deal with it, it's more focusing on the people that, you know, encourage what you want to put out, and sort of blocking out the hate that you get, even though, you know, you can look back at that in ways to sort of figure out how to better what you're doing. And sometimes there's good points in what they say, and sometimes they just, you know, they say, this sucks, you know, and you sort of have to ignore that kind of side. But as far as like, you know, a lot of people critique work on the internet, and in some ways I can appreciate that, you know, when it's handled like an adult and less of like, you know, someone trolling the internet. Yeah, it's two sides of the coin, really.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. It's kind of a bit troubling, actually, if you think about it. But a lot of people nowadays think that the best way to handle negative comments is to ignore it, to get a thick skin, to don't feed the trolls, to walk away from online bullying, cyberbullying. Timmy, what are your thoughts on that? I know you have a young son, and you're active on social media. Do you think that's kind of the common sentiment?
Well, what I think is unfortunate, so I mostly look at community forums online, and you know, the variety of comments that you get back on that, you know, from something as simple as there's a new restaurant in the area and you want to read, you know, how's the food, do people like it, and then like I said, that tends to go south somehow for some reason, and then the unfortunate side is then I tend to ignore those articles, or I'm going to avoid that site, or I can't look at it for a while, and it's unfortunate because then I'm missing out on my local news and you know, what's going on in my community, and I want to be a part of my community. So I think that's an unfortunate side of, you know, the commenting.
Right.
That, you know, you get too much noise and too many negative comments, and then I don't even want to look at it anymore.
Sure. And you know, it's pretty clear to everybody that there's a big negative side to online commenting as far as the dialogue that's happening. There's a lot of trolls, spam, bots, whatever you want to call it, that exists there. But also, I feel as if the positive side isn't as widely available as it could be, because right now it seems like if I spend half an hour to maybe as a researcher, 2 hours researching a topic as a rebuttal and writing this really well thought out response that actually might sway some people, that it essentially gets buried very quickly and would be tough to find. Renee, I know you've done some research on this topic. You want to tell us a little bit about what you found?
Yes. So throughout my research, what I discovered was that oftentimes there is a lot of positives you can find in the online commenting if you really look through it, but you would have to take hours to look through it and it would get buried. And sometimes the comments that are most recently posted and then therefore liked most recently wind up being the ones on the top. And then sometimes they're liked by someone that just has the same negative viewpoint as them. They're trying to bump up that negative opinion. And then you don't see some of the positive feedback, which then leads for some people to either completely ignore the comments, to even maybe avoid a specific site because those comments are there. For some journalistic areas to actually completely get rid of or eliminate the comments. But then therefore they're missing out on that feedback from their community. Mandy said how the journalists do rely on that to get some more information. Maybe even to get an additional opinion. They have the one opinion, they're writing from a certain perspective. It doesn't mean that they don't value or believe in or support an alternative perspective. but it's the manner in which it's presented. So if they eliminate those comments, that perspective never gets out there. That other opinion, the community voice, or even the back and forth. There can be a very positive back and forth conversation that may or may not change specific people's opinions, but will at least open their mind to other areas. However, if it's posted in a negative manner right there off the bat, the other person is never going to listen. Just like Anthony said, some feedback he's going to get for his artwork can actually help him change and adjust and mature as an artist. However, if it's just put out there that it's terrible, I don't like what you're doing, no opinion, it's something that he unfortunately just has to read through and then ignore. And if he eliminated the comments altogether, he wouldn't be able to get the positive feedback that he's getting, the support from friends, family, community, or just outside people.
That's
and
great.
exposure.
Yeah. That's a great point. And yeah, it's makes you think a little bit about the fact that newsrooms want engagement from the community. They want to drive those conversations, and they're not looking for a specific viewpoint to represent those conversations. Right. But at the same time, they want quality conversations, and that's something that's lacking in the current dialogue. Mandy, can you tell us a little bit about your experience from that regard and what newsrooms can try to do to tackle that?
Yeah, absolutely. So in online comments, when you're in a newsroom, you're either going to be, I was always encouraged to participate in the comments. If it was my article or something I wrote, or even if I was just on the desk, you're encouraged to participate in the newsrooms I've been in. And it's to kind of help minimize the potential for that awful stuff that happens, right? So any of the hate speech, foul language, different things like that, which actually a lot of newsrooms already have banned terms. So when you go to post a comment anyway, and if it's got curse words or certain other words that newsroom is already deemed inappropriate, it'll automatically flag it. It won't be posted. But then, like other newsrooms pre-moderate their comments, so you get a lot of almost lag time. So like you'll post a comment and then it could be like hours before you see it actually posted in the discussion, because they're trying to catch up and keep up with the number of comments, because sometimes depending on the topic of the article, it can get really busy. I mean, politics is always the busiest, or even the opinion pieces are always really busy because it's easy for people to agree or disagree and say what they want. That's where people are passionate, right? So those are always the busiest and always the hardest to keep up on, and to keep all the like the trolls and the foul language, the inappropriate, the obscenities. That's the hardest to keep that kind of stuff off of. So
yeah, it's a real challenge that newsrooms face as far as they can try to cultivate the dialogue through moderation efforts, but that slows down the cadence of the dialogue.
Yes.
Or they can let it be a free-for-all and hope that people are going to be adults, and we've seen that doesn't really work.
No.
Timmy, what are your thoughts as far as that kind of approach for social media? Is there a lot of moderation that happens in social media, or how does that get handled?
Not a lot of moderation, and I think that's why you tend to turn it off, because you're like, it's too much. I do know though on some of the community forums that there are admins to the group, and once in a while they will remove an entire post. Yes. So it could be a news article that somebody posted about something in the community, and then the conversation gets derailed very quickly, and then they remove the whole thread. So you're kind of left to, well, why did they censor it, or why, what was it really about? So
it makes the other people lose out. Like if you delete a whole thread, then there was good stuff there, but you're not going to be able to get it because it's all gone now.
Right, they deleted it.
All right, well, I'm hearing a lot of problems about the current state of online commenting here. That's all the time we have for today, but I would like to welcome you to go to www.classibridge.com or follow our handles on all the social media platforms for Classibridge, or if you're interested, sign up to be a beta tester. And thank you all very much for your time.
Thank you, DJ.